Hello guys, welcome to another video here at Machine Head Race It. Today we're going to do something a little different. I will try to mix two different themes and see what comes out of this mashup. I assume you may be familiar with the No HESI servers for Assetto Corsa, where you whip through the traffic at breakneck speed in the Shutoku Express highway system in Japan. I also assume that you may be familiar with the Japanese manga Wangan Midnight, based in a very real and very illegal midnight racing team who raced in the Tokyo highways back in the 80s and 90s. The idea today is to mix those two concepts together, sprinkle a little bit of GT7 on top, and go for a ride at the Tokyo Expressway Eastern Loop. As you may know, the Tokyo Expressway circuit that we have in Gran Turismo is loosely based on the Wangan. So I thought that it would be a good idea to take out these cars for a ride for today's episode. For those who followed the Wangan Midnight series, you may already know that the Blue Fair Lady C, also known as Devil C, was based on the air-breathing research Hosoki C, also known as the Red Devil. This car reached over 300 kilometers per hour in the Yatabe test circuit in Japan with its 600 horsepower triple carbureted turbo engine. On the other hand, the Black Belt Porsche makes reference to Midnight Club's former president Eiichi Yoshida, who owned a highly modified 700 horsepower 930 Porsche also, nicknamed Blackbird. Yoshida's car was originally black and later painted in dark purple. In peak form, the car reached 320 kilometers at Yatabe and 340 kilometers per hour unofficially on the Wangan. In order to set up this scenario in GT7, we are going to be using the custom race feature. Include the Blackbird starting in P1 so that we have to catch up with the Datsun from P20. The rest of the cars are going to be low horsepower street cars to act as transit in the highway to make things a little bit more interesting. Just like the manga, we are going to try to emulate a late night drive, trying to catch up with the Blackbird Porsche and race all along the main straight at max speed battle to see who comes out on top. For those who say that the GT7 AI is boring, you may be in for a surprise. Alright guys, so here we go, down the main straight for the very first time. As you can see, we are very easily overtaking all of the traffic cars. Most of them are very low power except for the Nissan Skyline police car that you may just have seen to the right there. I also added some emergency vehicles such as ambulances and things like that to give it a little bit more realism. So okay, now all of the placeholder cars are behind us. They are going to come into play later on during the race. Now it's time to chase the Blackbird Porsche. We go through this set of sweeping corners around 200 kilometers per hour. They're really hard because they have little to no camber, so you can very easily lose the tail of the car here if you're not careful. This chicane, we normally do it in third gear. Down to third gear again for this sweeping corner. Keep it in third for this next left-hander as we start to climb the access ramp to the highway. Trying to go as fast as possible to catch up with the Porsche as soon as possible so that we can have as many let's say straight line battles in this in the length of the video. I set this race, as I mentioned before, using the custom race menu, so it will be a 5-lap race. The idea here is, of course, trying to catch up as soon as possible with the Porsche to keep it interesting. So for those who follow the history of Wangan Midnight, you may be familiar with the lore surrounding this car. So the Devil Sea is said to be so powerful and so hard to control that most of its previous owners got into catastrophic crashes and even fatal ones. So this unfortunately, without even planning it, this came into play in this video, and you will see why in a short time. So as you can see, we are catching up with the Blackbird Porsche. So let's try to call his attention and bait him into a race. The Fairlady DC has around 600 horsepower with the current tune, and the Blackbird Porsche has around 700 horsepower. So I try to keep this as realistic as possible, based mostly on the specs that I could find on the internet for both Wangan Midnight and also from the Midnight Club, which the series is based on, right? So here we are finally catching up with the Porsche. Now it's time to call his attention and set everything up to start our drag race down the main straight. Some high beams here to let him know that we are behind him looking for a race. You will see that both cars are very evenly matched. Of course, I am sandbagging a little bit here to catch up with him just at the beginning of the straight. So here is where fiction meets reality. All of a sudden, when I tried to start chasing the Porsche, my gearbox stopped failing. I couldn't engage any of the gears. Here I tried to go into fourth, fifth, sorry, doesn't work. Third time is the charm, and finally we managed to engage fifth gear. So I swear to you guys, this was not staged, this happened in real life, so I wanted to keep it in the video. It seems that the Devil Sea is actually a cursed car after all. So let's do our best and try to catch the Porsche once again. This time it's going to be a little bit easier and a little bit faster, so that we can set up our race down the main straight. Once again, taking down the ramp here, up to fourth gear, heading up to the sweeping corners, 200 kilometers per hour here, trying to keep the car pinned as close to the wall as possible. Here we are once again on the tail of the Porsche. Hey look, we are already starting to catch up with some of the traffic, the ambulance in this case. So this really helps to keep things a little bit more interesting. It's really fun, because every time that you set up these kind of races, the traffic behaves in a different way, so you may catch up on different places of the track. So it's really fun to use the Gran Turismo's AI for doing these kind of setups. More traffic on the way as we negotiate the last corner before the main straight. This time, I promise, we are actually going to race the Porsche. Here we go up to fourth gear, already 220 kilometers per hour. We are going to be using a little bit of slipstream of the Porsche to catch up and see what we can do here. I think that the Datsun has a higher top speed than the Porsche despite the horsepower difference, but it's mainly due to the difference in weight between these two cars as well. Big flames coming out of the exhaust as we negotiate the first corner. This time we came up on top. So we will try to keep the Porsche next to us so that we can run down the main straight once again. We can see the view from the Porsche now, from the Blackbird Porsche, facing us, this time from behind. As we approach the main straight, going to let him go through and set everything up for another go down the Wangan. A bit of sideways action here. High beams again to let him know that we are going again for a race, and more traffic in our way. It seems that we are going to come across traffic down the straight as well once we start accelerating. Trying to avoid crashing into that Prius. Here we go again down the main straight. Up to fifth gear, already 220 kilometers per hour. This time we managed to catch up way faster than before. Security cameras of the bridge here, or tunnel rather. Maximum speed down the straight, trying to avoid crashing into the traffic. More than 300 kilometers per hour before we start to brake for the first corner. Down to second gear, around 100 kilometers per hour, fighting the understeer because the ramp is pointing up, so the car tends to glide towards the outer wall. And it seems that we have lost the Porsche for now. Fast forward to the last couple of corners. Blackbird Porsche managed to catch up once again, and we are going to follow him to give it another go down the main straight. Fire all over the place. So here we go again. Using the slipstream in our favor, try to catch up as soon as possible. As we match the right pedal to the floor to overtake the Porsche and win by a very slim margin. Alright guys, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this custom scenario that I showed to you today. If you enjoy these kind of videos, please let me know in the comments below. Remember to leave a like, subscribe if you are still not a member of the channel, and I will be seeing you in the next one. Bye.